Therefore, although it pains me to do so, because of the respect I have for the legislative branch of government and my decades-long record of cooperating with Congress under the advice of my attorneys, I will invoke my right under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution to refrain from answering your question.
For the American people, Fauci, we wanted answers, and you cowardly shied away from them today at the hearing led by Senator Rand Paul. But we played at the beginning of this show the entirety of that first line of questioning from our Missouri Senator, Josh Hawley. Incredible points made by Senator Hawley, and he joins us now here on the Annie Frey Show. Senator, such an honor to have you with us today. Thank you so much for giving us a little bit of your time.
Thank you for having me.
So I just want your top thoughts after watching and participating in this hearing today. Tell us what it was like to be in the room and watch Anthony Fauci 111 times say, "I plead the Fifth."
What a crook. I mean, that's my takeaway. This is a guy who got rich during the pandemic using federal staff, federal resources, federal materials to apply for cash prizes. He took $1 million in cash prizes for himself personally. The guy's worth over $12 million right now, while people were dying in this country. And yet he comes before Congress and the American people and says, I take the Fifth. I mean, my experience is this. Innocent people don't take the Fifth. This guy is guilty as all get out. And there has got to be a way to hold him accountable.
Senator Josh Hawley speaking with us here on the Annie Frey Show. The question that everybody is asking right now, we thought going in, you've got an incredible blanket pardon going back to 2014 from President Joe Biden for any crimes committed that were adjacent to their job within the government. I thought he was going to be compelled to have to tell the truth. You don't need the Fifth Amendment if you've already been pardoned for any crimes you might have committed. Why was he able to take the Fifth?
He wasn't able to take the Fifth. He does not have. He's not entitled to that privilege. The Supreme Court's law on this is clear and has been for over a century. If you have a pardon, if you have immunity, you cannot use the privilege because you don't need the privilege. And so what he did today was totally unlawful, which I called him out on, and he knew it. And he knew it. The reason he did it is because, number one, he has complete contempt for the American people and the taxpaying public, whom he has ripped off and grifted for years. Number two, he didn't want to answer questions about how he got rich while Americans were dying. He didn't want to have to be accountable. And so he just sat there and hid behind a privilege that he's not entitled to. And I can tell you this, I hope that we will hold him in contempt because that is what he deserves.
So talk to us about what that means. Senator Rand Paul said that there is already a scheduled contempt meeting on the schedule for next week. I don't know if it's the same thing. Steve Bannon, was he held in contempt? He didn't participate the way they wanted to. I think they put him in jail for it. What does a contempt hearing and vote mean for Anthony Fauci at this point?
It is exactly what they did to Bannon. That's exactly correct with no grounds. Here, the grounds are absolutely clear. This guy directly violated a valid congressional subpoena. He claimed privileges that he doesn't have. He's deliberately obstructed an investigation, and the public has a right to know. They have a right to know how he got rich. By the way, Annie, it's illegal what he did. It is illegal to use federal employees or federal resources or federal instrumentalities to solicit cash awards for yourself. That's illegal. He did it anyway. And tomorrow, I'm introducing legislation that will make the receipt of any of these gifts illegal. I mean, This guy's a crook. He should go to jail. He should have a long time ago. And I hope that we will vote him in contempt. I can't wait to cast my vote yes. And then I hope the DOJ will go after him.
Senator Josh Hawley, a United States Senator from Missouri, on here with us on 97.1 FM Talk. Senator, I asked earlier in this week as we were kind of ramping up for this opportunity to hear from Fauci and see what he was going to say, that we, especially in broadcast media on the conservative side of the aisle, we were throttled incredibly. If you mention Wuhan, if you mention COVID, if you mention vaccines or ivermectin, any of these words, you paid a price if you talked about it, and we did pay that price. There's a lot that's gone into this moment leading up to here, and then listening to Fauci just completely keep quiet, not say anything. The question I've always wanted to ask is what really happened and when did it happen? But we always want to know the why. And your testimony today tied together a whole bunch of things that I don't know that were top of mind for me. I didn't know that he was profiting in this particular way while he was flattering himself over and over in his diary, but lying to the American people.
The why is he wanted to get rich, and he did. And the why is he wanted to be a celebrity, and he made himself one. And the fact that innocent people had to lose their First Amendment rights, thousands of Missourians who asked honest questions, everybody throttled down, followed on social media, had their accounts canceled because of people like him, to say nothing of the people who died, all while he was getting rich and promoting himself. That is the why. This is a guy who fundamentally lost his way. Somewhere along the line, he lost his way. And sadly, thousands, hundreds of thousands of people have paid for it. And there needs to be accountability. The Democrats were huffing and puffing at the beginning of the hearing and saying, no, this is going to deter science. No. This is going to deter grifters, because that's what Anthony Fauci became. He became a grifter, and we've got to make sure we don't get more like him.
Senator Hawley, did you expect him to plead the Fifth the way he did? And what were your thoughts on the Democrat senators on the other side of the dais there? They had a lot of nice things to say about Anthony Fauci.
I just thought the way that they slobbered over him was disgusting. I mean, I just think it is absurd to sit there and say that he's an idol and he's a hero. It's not heroic to take $1 million for yourself using taxpayer money to do it while people are dying. That's not heroic. That's disgusting. It's against the law. It's unethical, and it ought to be outright criminal, and I hope soon it will be. I just thought all of that was they're living in a different world. I mean, what planet are these people on? Do they not remember what our children went through? Do they not remember what our families went through? They are responsible, many of these Democrats, because they championed all of this garbage that Fauci was pushing and putting out, from the school closures to the shutdown of businesses, churches, of course. They were all for that stuff. And as it turns out, all of it was wrong, unconstitutional, and totally indefensible.
Senator Hawley, last question before we let you go. We're incredibly grateful for some time this afternoon regarding the Anthony Fauci hearing today. There are people who are suggesting that he had to plead the Fifth because Biden's pardon is a federal pardon. But you've been attorney general here in the state of Missouri before. There might be some thirsty attorney generals looking to pin charges on him based on his testimony today. Is that a fear that Anthony Fauci should have?
No, I mean, all of that is just lawyer gobbledygook. I mean, it's just a reason to not have to answer questions in public. The reason that he didn't answer questions today is because there were cameras there and he was under oath and he didn't want to be held to account. He had all the time in the world to sit down with Vogue magazine or whatever it was, to take selfies and do a photo shoot by a pool. But when it comes time to actually answer questions for the American public, then all of a sudden he's got grave concerns. BS. He doesn't have any concerns other than his own hide. This is a guy who never, ever should have been in a position of power.
Well, you did a wonderful job today. Thank you for the efforts. The representation of the Missouri constituency was very well done today. We thank you for the time as well.
Thank you for having me.